Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. It's really hot here. I am actually parked under a tree. So the comments were good, and I did a video on the fried oysters, and a lot of people said those oysters are made in China or produced in China or gotten from China. And I thought, yeah, let me take a look at this, and probably my oyster eating days are over. The Chinese cannot be trusted. So I mentioned to you that one day I went to the store and I bought a bag of salmon and a bag of rockfish for $2.99 each. The next day they were $5.99 each, and then last night they were $2.99 each. So one of the good comments was, I think this is all BS. And I'm thinking to myself, we should do some critical thinking on some of this stuff, because it's strongly possible that it is BS. We're not gonna starve, and it's all contrived, possibly to make us buy all their old damned inventory that people otherwise wouldn't touch, like their oysters. First of all, you can't find any, which, so what, you know? I'm not buying any more. I'm just eating the ones I have. Okay, so now what we want to do is, before we spend, we want to critically think. We're going to look at this situation rationally. We're not going to just, transport disruptions. The Suez Canal was disrupted. There was cyber attacks and, trouble. So, okay, now what I want to critically think about today is this. Let's see, 16.8 million young salmons were transported from a hatchery to the San Francisco Bay and San Pablo. Okay, turns out these hatcheries were close to Sacramento. Turns out that the state of California was involved in the transport, and it was 146 truckloads of young salmon, 16.8 million salmon, were transported supposedly to the bay, where these salmon were just released into the ocean. Highly doubtful released into a hatchery. Okay, so what happened is we have a drought. You guys have seen my videos. We had rain one day, and it was bizarre because I told you guys the reservoir released water and it flooded some of the townhouses where I live. It was a computer miscommunication. So, drought, release water. I think there is a drought. So the issue with the salmon, the small salmon, is it was too hot for them to swim upstream. So when we start transporting the salmon and we start intervening, what it does is it disrupts the natural selection. So now what we have is we have salmon with an easy life, and then these salmon are eaten for food, and it really affects the food we eat. It affects the animal husbandry, or whatever you want to call it, really affects our food. And then they say it's not sustainable. And another thing is the consumer is ultimately going to pay for this. So we're supposed to be in the grips of a grand solar minimum, which is a mini ice age. But here in California, we have these droughts which result in fires. I think the fires are pretty dangerous too. So we're seeing this all the time. We're seeing the states and we're seeing the country intervene in the food storage, in the food productions, and possibly the states and the governments might end up owning a lot of this food. Another thing is who actually owns this food. You know, it's owned by somebody who hatched it, and then the government has helped them transport it, and then they will pass that on to the consumer. So, okay, so, you know, I was just in Walgreens, and a small can of tuna, the little ones, was like $3.99, and now a pound, probably not the top high quality salmon, was $3.99. And so after the oysters, I was thinking, you know, I'd rather just eat a tuna sandwich. The main thing that I use the oysters for is for oyster stew. Once in a while I like to eat it. Not too often, especially if it's produced in China. The COVID killed my uncle. Also, you know, okay, talking about natural selection. All these homeless people have, it seems, been transported to California, just like the salmon have been transported to the bay. So, you know, also a lot of illegals have been transported to California. So we're critically thinking about this. Okay, what's with this BS? Well, okay, the climate is milder. So during the winter, the homeless had a much better, they were just dropped off here, a much better chance of survival. Possibly the government is going to take over some of the housing. Possibly they were transported to areas to ruin the property value so foreign investors could be, I mean, we're just thinking, I'm not saying, possibly so foreign investors could come in, or someone, and buy this property for very little money because it's been breached with all these tent cities. I saw some videos, and in one area, it was a bunch of small businesses and industrial buildings that were all empty. It could be a form of helping yourself. Also, the immigration issue is that we have agriculture here, which requires workers. So that's possibly, I mean, we're critically thinking about everything. So what it seems like, back to the comment, this is all BS. What it seems like is it's this, and then everybody gets all worked up. It's Epstein. Oh no. Oh, that pervert. It's Anthony Weiner. Oh, that's unspeakable. It's salmon this week, right? So it's just one thing after another. So the best, so if we're going to analyze this issue. Privately owned salmon were transported to the Bay of San Francisco. Now, it just so happens that fishing season opens just about salmon fishing season, and trout season, fishing season opens just about the time the state reopens in the middle of June, which is soon. Okay, so there is going to be lots of quality salmon for these fishermen to capture, to fish in a hatchery. No, I don't know about that, but we're analyzing this. But what we really know is, at the end of the day, the consumers of salmon are gonna pay for this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to buy salmon, or any of, and so you might say, are these fake shortages? Yeah, they are. They're BS, actually. And that was a good comment, whoever made it. There was a comment that, you know, you look kind of nice and neat, but your food storage doesn't look too good. This is something interesting. First of all my food storage is cans and packages. You know, the vacuum sealed. But when you start eating your food storage, I live on my food storage. You know, it looks like a lot, but it goes down fast. And so I'm going to be eating my food storage down, and I'm going to show you what happens in just 1 month. So you can see how much food we don't realize it because we go to the store and we continuously buy food. So in about a month, I am going to show you guys how much of that food I have actually eaten. And so you might be thinking, well, you know, you're going to be eating too much canned food. No, I'm just going to eat like a can of corn or a can of green beans. I'm going to eat, you know, whatever I've got in there, some instant potatoes. One of the followers said she had some potatoes and some chicken and some instant potatoes and some corn that she got out of her stockpile. That's what I'm going to be doing. So those were some good comments. So what we're going to be doing is when this news comes out, we're going to analyze this news and say, is this cause for alarm? Probably not. One of the things we're going to be watching is misdirection of facts. Otherwise, the facts are presented in a way that makes us maybe buy all their old inventory. I don't mind buying old inventory. I do it all the time, but I'm not paying full price. I'm not paying a high price. So, and we do have a drought. And the other day I was talking to my son, and the sun was beating on my ear, and it gave me the worst headache. I can see how that could kill the salmon. So what we're going to do is we're going to start critically thinking on some of these issues as they come up. I am not paying $3.99 for a can of hatchery-grown salmon. I am going to pick up a few cans of salmon and tuna that I find for $1. What they want to do is move us to 2.5 ounce packages for $1. That's what they want to do. And we're going to be alert for false flag events, which is going to cause people to panic. So if there's news that's you know, kind of panic provoking, we're going to say to ourselves, wait a minute. Is this news going to personally affect me? Well, not really. I can just eat tuna. I have stockpiled food and I can just eat that. So the comments are really good, and I'm trying to include people in my videos with the comments, and so my other followers can, I don't view these comments as picking on me. It's like if there was like 1,000 of us having a discussion, everybody would have a different, and you can learn a lot of stuff. One of the comments was you can just eat the oysters on a cracker. And that's the way I eat sardines. And one of the comments was you can just fry your oysters in the air fryer. I go, yeah, that's a good idea too. I think the best use of them for the most food though is the oyster stew with crackers. So, okay, you guys, that was some great comments. If you have comments, leave them. I'm going to be trying to read them. And also I noticed like under the comments there was like 7 hearts, and that shows me other people. And then here's my notebook. See, I had to buy a new one, and I write the stuff in the notebooks. So the transport of the salmon is not highly significant in our lives. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.